All right, we'll get started. Thank you. Sorry for the confusion. There's a mask mandate for municipal buildings in the town of Waterford, so thank you for everyone for putting that on. All right, we'll get started. The past minutes have been posted to the website. I don't know if anyone had a chance to look at them, but we have a motion to approve minutes. And we got a motion.
So moved.
Dr. Shanaski, a second. Great, from Ned Hickey. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, seems unanimous. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming. I think this was a great season. I learned a lot in my first year as president. It was definitely an interesting year coming off a pandemic and getting to see so many people online in the off season and then in person in the season. You know, I loved the interactions with the bylaws and people's civil and valuable inputs. I loved the entertainment events and people coming out. I think that something I noticed is it doesn't have to be fancy, but if it's on the beach and involves a hot dog, it seems pretty popular. So that's kind of my takeaway. The movie nights were great. We're going to have one tonight, but it doesn't, I don't think, make a lot of sense to try to do that going into a hurricane. So next weekend and next year, you know, I think these pieces that, you know, we built off of last year, try to continue it this year, and we'll keep it going in the future. You know, as the presumptive next president, I would appreciate anyone's input on anything that they thought I did well, thought I could do better, would like to see in the association next year. And as always, if you're interested, you know, find a way to volunteer. There's a lot of work that gets done and it falls on a few individuals. And even if you just want to help out at one event or one thing, it would make a big difference to those involved. So thank you.
Going into my report for this year, I also learned a lot being my first year as vice president anyway. We do appreciate any input we can get from anybody. If you have concerns, questions, complaints, or even things that we're doing well, we'd like to hear what we're doing well and what we're not doing well, so we can try to improve. We are down now to 4 lifeguards for the rest of the year. Logan and Will have headed off to college. And of the remaining lifeguards that we have, some of them will start having shorter hours during the week because the fall sports have started at the high school and everything. And starting not next week, but the week after, we will have no lifeguard on the Wednesday through Friday, midweek, well, Wednesday through Friday, 9/1 through 9/3, because school has started in Waterford. We have started a full-time parking attendant, which will be there 7 days a week. He will be doing a small break during the day so that hopefully we won't have much intrusion during that time, but he's basically going to be working 10 to 4, 10 to 5 every day. So that'll hopefully stop some of the influx of people coming in. At our current plan, scheduling the lifeguards and parking lot attendant, we should be running about $4,000 under our budget. That is good anyway. We've had some rain days, some sick days, and some other things would have brought it down. We'd also try to increase our badge checks in the next couple weeks, trying to get a more consistent basis of checking the badges for everybody. So if everybody can just be patient with being checked, even though you've come in and out of the gate multiple times, they're probably going to hopefully keep checking you to keep that covered anyway. The town of East Lyme has performed a couple of beach siftings for us, and hopefully we got one more planned for them. The town of Waterford is supposed to give us 2 siftings. We had 1 the other day. So thanks to Bill Brett for coordinating that. And between that happening on Thursday and the beach being raked on Friday, it really was looking good until the tide went out. And it'll probably start looking pretty bad come Monday again. But yeah, Herder Landscape has been doing since early July. They've been doing a beach raking almost every Friday or Saturday morning, depending on what meets their schedule. In regard to the bridge, we have had the initial bridge study completed, and they basically came up with the same results as the initial one, where they gave us a 6-ton axle weight or an 8-ton maximum. We will probably try to post the initial bridge study to the website sometime in the coming week. The property and coastal jurisdiction study was also completed. That's the survey we have to get done to determine if and where and when we can put a fence if we wanted to. And based on his initial findings, he found the high tide lines, he found our property lines. We can basically put the fence wherever we want without DEP approval. We just need to file a form with them showing that we're inside their jurisdiction. So I'm gonna try to schedule up an informal meeting next Saturday, sometime, I don't know when, sometime in the morning, just to maybe meet out on the rocks for anyone that might want to have questions, or we can discuss the potential fence issue again.
What time?
The utility trench that we've been trying to plan since last April, we've been going back and forth with the DEP every couple of weeks. And we have another meeting with them on Tuesday that hopefully we can finalize the last of their questions so that they can finally give us a permit to run power over to our property. I want to give a nice thank you to both Sue Benzik and Mark Shanaski for opening and closing the gate while I was away. And a thank you to Bill Brett for keeping his lovely plants watered and everything. And hopefully he'll be removing them sometime later today. And thank you to somebody who don't know who it was, who did the mowing and the weeding over by the shed pathway while I was away.
Pam Gorley and Todd.
Oh, Pam did it? Okay, I'll have to give her a thanks then. And I think that's,
I think there might
oh,
have
and
been.
one final thing, the beach will be closed tomorrow due to the hurricane. Waterford Beach is closed theirs today and tomorrow. We are closing ours just for tomorrow.
Is it the parking lot closed or walk on?
Excuse me?
I don't know, but that's fine.
The parking lot will be closed and locked, and it'll be posted as closed. But as you know, if you choose to walk around the gate, we can't really stop you from doing that.
I will probably be down there myself sometime.
Just wanna see the water.
There's a question in the back.
Yes, Donna?
John, what time are you hoping to meet next Saturday morning?
I think probably like 10 a.m., 9 or 10 a.m. We'll send out an email blast once we figure out what's good for us up here anyway. But
Do you have a question, Joe?
I was just wondering, he said fence, I didn't know where, but then he mentioned rocks. So I just didn't
Yeah.
know where it was.
Yeah, so there are numbered pins out on the rocks, I think 1 through 19, and that's a line that represents.
where we have to be behind.
Thank you.
And then he also found the property corners, where everything is, and where we were looking originally about talking about putting a fence, it isn't anywhere close to those high tide lines anyway, so we should be able to put it wherever we need to.
And that's basically to have all those people not coming on the rocks and causing us concern.
Well, it all depends on where we decide. We should have the fence. If we will have a fence, it's a hot topic anyway.
We can put any, it could be, we could be putting planters or any sort of barrier.
Yeah, we could decide what we actually want to do, what's the best, or. Yeah, any questions, or we can move on to the financial secretary report.
And
Our assessment member fees were $82,180. New member fees, 31,000, excuse me. Assessment member fees were 208 members at the 82,180. New member fees were 39 at $31,550. Associate member fees, 84 at $2,100. Extra badges, 660 at $16,495. Euro stickers, 68 for $340. Events, ticket sales, 56, which is $5,191 for a total of $137,856. Any questions? I did make some copies. No questions? Thank you.
the treasurer's report I didn't see it until this morning, so I don't really feel comfortable presenting it. But it will be posted to the website after we have a chance to go through it. A couple of things from Ann's report. We are over budget on revenue. The over budget on new member fees, those are go to a capital reserve account. We also sold a lot more extra badges than we're budgeted for. I think there's about $5,000 in change more than was budgeted for. So there's more revenue. That's a good thing. Our legal expenses have been higher than budgeted. I don't believe that the bylaws committee has fully used what was budgeted for them, but our legal expenditures for advice on board governance and how the beach is run have been a lot more than we expected, and I'm sorry for that. I think we have learned a lot, and it's definitely something that I don't foresee continuing into the future.
What was that number? You know?
Well, there's a number on here, but it's not the number that I've been familiar with. So our budget was $9,000, and we are right at or above that right now. David's report is saying we're at 10,000 something. Based on what I have through the end of July, I see 9,500. So we'll definitely share that information. I know Dan Tarbell, who's the treasurer next year, requested all the invoices that I know they're shared with him. So I imagine like our website's public, so I don't know about sharing legal invoices on the website, but that's certainly something that is information that can be shared with the membership. And I've done a little analysis of bylaws, governance, and other, and then also like kind of where the legal fees initiated, whether it was from the bylaws or from a board member sending a question to the attorney. So we can share all that information. And yeah, beyond that, I don't really have anything else to comment on this, but we'll get this up on the website once we double check it. And if you have any questions for the next 2 weeks, David is the treasurer, and his phone number and email are on here. So feel free to reach out to him as well. Oh, sorry, John.
David put on here in red, says the over budget will require a vote of the association members to allocate additional funds to pay for legal expenses.
So our budget bylaws changed last year, and the membership approves a budget now. So whether that means that if any line item changes, the membership has to vote, or if the overall budget changes, the membership has to vote. I think something like this, honestly, like what I would do is I would just shoot the attorney a quick email and ask her, like, do the bylaws make everyone go through the voting process or not? It's not clear, and I've seen it interpreted both ways. But if that has to happen, we'll try to make it efficient for all you and vote online, because that makes it easy. Anything else? Okay. If anyone has paper ballots and they have not turned them in, this is the time to do so. Carolyn Hartsfield has been great. Chairman of our membership committee didn't really have too much to do this year because we were full. She stepped in with the nominating committee. She's here counting votes. Round of applause for Carolyn, please. Oh, and if you didn't sign in, please do so now or on your way out.
That's a really silly question.
No silly questions.
Oh, this one, okay. It says it's unpaid legal expenses, so that's expenses due. What happens if everyone votes not to pay it? It's due money. It doesn't make sense. Voting on something that is already, the we already have to pay. I always thought voting is for an expense we might want to not do.
Yes,
This is something new.
yes.
Okay, so that's what you're, maybe it's clarification on.
Yeah, we would want to clarify that.
It just sounds odd to vote for paying something that's due.
Yes,
You kind of have the choice.
you can't, retroactively approve a liability that exists.
Okay.
Yes,
In our last meeting, which was groups, that have some non-underneath our responsibility. Is there been any, update? Is there anything on that?
so, the board heard the reception from the members and from Ned's talk at the last meeting. We proposed that we continue with the load assessment, and we want to discuss the phase 2 cost and repair assessments. So the board never approved actually either one of those, but I know that David signed the contract himself and sent it in. So I know that the load assessment was done and the cost estimate was started. I do not know if it's been completed, but we are trying to figure that out. And, our understanding is we don't want to put the beach in a position. We felt that the load assessment survey was important. We have, if we needed to close the bridge or tell a fire truck it couldn't drive over, that's something we felt like we needed to know. But based on Ned's presentation and our attorney's input, the owner of an easement is responsible for repair and maintenance. Whether we want to take advantage of that or not, maybe still should be seen. But if we kind of go down that path of getting cost estimates to repair and replacement, the argument could be made that it's now our responsibility. The precedent is that the state in the past apparently has refused to share or pay expenses, has refused. So when there was a guardrail repaired or put on a couple of years ago, I guess that was sent to the state. But I'm not familiar with exactly how the conversations went. And another thing I got from when Ned spoke was that just sending an invoice into the state isn't necessarily the way to get it read. Maybe getting some, political or neighborhood firepower behind you, get the community together and make it kind of more of a thing. So, I think that we'll definitely, all these capital line items, you'll see an update on the status of them. And the bridge is definitely something in years to come that's going to become something we at least need a clearer plan on. There's a lot of kind of multiple directions right now. But the load assessment, I haven't even seen the results yet.
I just got them last night.
You just got them last night. So apparently that hasn't changed, which is good. It hasn't degraded over the past 12 years or gotten a lower assessment. So everyone update.
Try as the board does anything to circumvent David signing the engagement letter by contacting the engineering company.
I had
Telling them to stop work, and we already violated board policy by doing that. No.
Yeah, the financial control policy would require my signature on a contract at that dollar amount. I did not sign it yet. I did have a conversation with the engineer at Lorario, and I told her that we were still working internally to approve the phases and release the work, and requested that the proposal be broken up with load assessment and cost estimate as 2 separate signature pages. I have not received that yet though, but I did talk to the attorney or the engineer and let her know that it wasn't
I strongly feel for email, call, write a letter.
Put in writing.
Cease and desist, and that we as an organization stop completely whatever we're doing related to the bridge. So we hire a land use attorney to tell us what our rights are, because we might be shooting ourselves in the foot by continuing down this road.
and wasting
We
money.
don't know the answer. I don't understand when we just don't stop completely.
Does anyone else have anything?
And
I just have a question. With Dave, the membership did vote the monies for this, fair hearing on board. They
You
did.
can speak up a little too, so
What?
you can speak up a little bit so they can go through the Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry. That we did appropriate the money for this survey. So my question would be, if Charles decided not to sign it or didn't have a chance or whatever, is that something that we should bring up to the membership then to relook it, revisit it, instead of saying stop and desist?
I thought it was pretty clear last meeting that the membership wanted us to cease and desist.
That's the reason we decided to put a stop.
But did
to it.
we take a vote on?
Well, we didn't take a vote on overspending on legal, so I mean, circumstances.
I'm just
change.
asking, I'm just
So,
asking.
Yeah, so I
We
think,
came up with new information at the last meeting.
So shouldn't we have then taken that information and then put that out to everyone? Maybe-
Yeah, we should be voting on it today, actually.
No, but what I'm saying is it should have, we should have had a concerted effort to take that information, you voted the money, we have new information that we would like to present to you, who's ever not at the meeting, and maybe they didn't have a chance to look at the Zoom, put it back out to the membership, and let the membership then take both sides and re-vote it.
So we should continue to shoot ourselves in the foot from a
Yeah, I'm
liability
just-
standpoint.
I'm
Because,
just asking a question.
yeah, I think I stated my position more than clearly, is we should stop everything immediately. And email, write, and call the engineering, firm. Stop, cease, and desist.
yes,
And
that-
hire a land use attorney to find out what our rights are.
But right,
End
and
of story.
so there's a budget process, the money was approved, but there's also a contract approval process and a financial control policy where the board has to actually approve me to put my signature on a contract.
To do our due diligence.
And based on the unofficial vote, because it wasn't properly noticed at the last meeting, it was based on information that was learned on the floor. So it's not an official vote, but we heard that. And our conversation was to put the brakes on Lorario. So that was the board's feeling on it.
but right now, there is no more voting at the meeting. That went away a long time ago.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm just, thank you.
I will find out where that contract is on Monday or Tuesday, and I'll definitely make a point to let everyone know exactly where that stands.
Second one, David said, I urge you to, yes, absolutely keep on that and require most to stop it. We should arrange that.
Yes. Oh, you're just,
I'm just saying.
all right.
Was very clear,
Yes.
so I agree.
That kind of brings us into the open items from the July business meeting. There was the bridge, the trenching, we're making progress on. The gentleman with the mat that was approved, I believe is actually gonna come out next week to help us assess, teach us how to maintain them better, care for them better. I don't know what's gonna happen with the hurricane. We'll probably end up taking up the mats this afternoon. And, probably putting them back down. So that might still make sense that if he comes and, who knows what the beach will look like on Tuesday. The load assessment, we covered that. The survey of the rocks, John covered that. Beach access and badge checking, John touched on that. So we promised visible changes this weekend. You'll see there's a new gate attendant. It's an adult. He's in the neighborhood. He has a golf cart. He has experience, dealing with all sorts of situations. So we feel that he can handle it. His instructions are check everyone's parking permit when they come in the parking lot. Check badges for the number of adults over 8 years old, people over 8 years old in the car. And he does have a list of members, but what we've told him is if you're driving and you forget your parking pass, he's gonna ask you to drive home and get it. If you're walking and you forget your badge, he does have a list of members and he can probably let you in, but he's gonna let us know, and if someone's doing that constantly, we'll tell them, okay, you have to wear your badge, you have to bring your parking pass. And then people who don't have badges and don't have parking passes won't be allowed on the beach. And hopefully we can rein this issue in. Yes.
I know it's a silly gray area, and it hasn't happened this year. But if someone's coming down just to drop off items, would they be allowed to go in, drop stuff off, and go out without a pass? The
Like,
reason why I'm saying that, my circumstances, I'm the one that does the driving down there. My husband's the one with the truck. And he'll do a quick run in, drop stuff off, and then drive right back out because he has to go to work. So then I can't get in if I get on my parking, you know what I mean?
I mean,
Would that be allowed instead of just doing a quick drop off?
I think,
We have allowed that.
Okay.
We do try to keep them, keep an eye on, make sure they don't.
I mean, it's
Drop
gonna
everything off
drop
in his
off and
car.
back out again. Okay, just, thanks.
Because then they're gonna see him come back out.
Right, now I'm also gonna be really stressed, nope, you're back your house.
no, it's not, we're not trying to be really strict. We're just trying to really have rules, and we also always want to be reasonable.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I didn't know we had to try to make it that, pass this. So I appreciate it.
And then there will be a bylaws committee info session immediately following this meeting. So we're not gonna get into any of that today. I'm sorry. But they'll be just presenting information that we learned at the last meeting with Catherine Marion. In the meantime, a back and forth they've had with her about some of the concepts and things that they think are getting us towards a solution to what they've been working on this year surrounding membership. And what happens when an assessed member passes away to that membership and to the family's membership if that happens. And that'll be immediately following this meeting right here. So the new business, I didn't really have much on here. I wanted any feedback on this year's social events, on suggestions for next year. Obviously, there will not be a 76th birthday party. But beyond that, does anyone have any feedback that I can pass along to the entertainment committee?
Nay, more movies
Okay, we want more movies.
every weekend.
Then I need more volunteers.
You think that's the same volunteer, Tammy?
Kind of on the same thing, I love the movie concept, but personally for me, and I'm saying, not just me, but I like them during the week. It's a nice break up, I like them during the week, it's a nice break up during the week, because on weekends, we always meet for voters, we're always voting. So if the ones that were on the weekday, we loved going to, but on the weekends, it's just tough. I love the movie night and I love the hot dogs.
Okay,
Hot dogs, movie, ice cream, the little stuff on the beach, I think really is a great touch. And hopefully doesn't really cost a lot.
yeah, like an excuse to come down to the beach. It's a little bit different than how we normally use
It's
it.
just nice. Oh, is the bridge truck tonight or that got canceled?
Well, they were advertising on their Facebook page that it was a public event, so we canceled them permanently. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
we offered them a courtesy. They're like, oh, we have cousins who want to support us. We was like, well, we can maybe get you some guest passes. And they just went on their website and said, bring your blankets, fully stocked coolers.
And it's
to
movie night too.
To enjoy movie night under the stars. So we said, see you later. Yeah, yeah, the girls took care of that real quick.
Kathy?
I have to say, the committee did a tremendous job, so I'm right. That's that party for 76 was over the top, so it was really a nice event. The only thing about the picnic I was concerned, there wasn't really enough food. I mean, hot dogs and hamburgers, yes, but all the others, so it's really hard for Pollock, I get that. but
Okay,
That was kind of like the disappointment.
so maybe like hot dogs, hamburgers, and some of the major salads or something
Yeah,
should be
you
included,
can do salads.
right?
Because I mean, how many coleslaws, how many potato salads can you have besides not having anything else?
Right.
I mean, I think catering, those extra things would be a need.
Or ask someone maybe to, ask people maybe to bring two things.
Yeah, they don't, people just don't bring, something, even the desserts are all, it's not a hot luck, bring a store. And I get it, people are busy, but, something, bring something that's more professional.
Okay,
I think the hot dogs and hamburgers were outstanding, they were cooked. You guys did a great job. It was fun. Even though I saw people on the beach that were asking if 50 members, they were pretty cute.
Yeah.
The one guy that's too bugging, hey, have you ever heard?
Tammy, I think if you want, I love movies, I could go every day, but I think if you want a movie during the week, you gotta find them sleep rooms, set up. It's hard. 'Cause
Yeah,
everyone's
so-
out.
That's what I figured,
Yeah.
it's when people are available.
We,
I'm just saying, no big deal.
No, I know.
We can set it up pretty easily with 2 or 3 people. Breaking it down takes 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
You just have to have an expertise in rolling around.
Yeah, you just have to plank, get the air out. And but no, I mean, we have the system down. It really is just manpower. So we can't you know, tell volunteers. I think we had 3 or 4 movie nights this year on the schedule. They not the same person can't be expected to be doing it every Wednesday, every Friday, every Saturday, but we have a couple people who know how to do it. So if you want to have a movie night and you have a movie you want to show and you have 4 friends who are willing to come a little early and stay a little late, we can definitely work with you to make that happen.
Okay.
So it's just the generator is really the only factor. For one of them, we rented one from the Home Depot up in Lisbon.
I was
Um,
a generator.
That was like,
One of the longest-
it has to be an inverter generator. So it wasn't expensive. It was only like $48. And then we've also borrowed a generator from a member for the other movie nights. So that's been very generous. But everything else,
Buy
we-
one. Why don't we just buy one?
I mean,
If we're liking it.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone's enjoying it, but I'm saying, but who's the person who has the screen? They might not want to use it all the time. That's not fair.
the beach owns the screen.
Oh,
The beach owns the projector. I believe the beach will eventually own the speakers. They've been kind of donated thus far.
So yeah, I think the generator, I mean, we're 3/4 of the way there, why not?
Yeah, the proof of concept, I think, works.
Storage is sometimes the biggest thing for some of these things.
Yeah.
Where it's all gonna be stored, you know?
We're not storing things here.
Right in her garage.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen my garage? My last tax sale. I can't even I just got my vehicle last night. No, it's a joke.
Dick,
Yeah, years ago, we kept a lot of things going while I was at, just a grill, hot dog or a hamburger. Most of the time it was just hot dogs, one of those little bags of potato chips, and a can of soda for $1.25. And it seemed to keep things moving.
oh, like have hot dogs more, like dollar hot dogs and do it more often?
Yeah, but we didn't have to worry about the coleslaw, the potato salad, and all the rest. It was just the kids mostly, and of course the adults.
Is that for the picnic or is that for just like Sunday afternoon?
It would be just more of an afternoon
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's the cost of the hot dog that's the problem. It's the volunteers to do all
Yeah,
that.
that's-
Yeah.
And portable grill, so you didn't have to rent one of those big ones.
Yeah, well, we do have a gas grill in the shed that works.
Is there enough to handle?
We did, Dan and I did the first hot dog day on that grill, and I think kept up decently well.
Karen and I did last year, we put 200 hot dogs a day,
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
no problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
No problem. Just hot dogs, just 2 hot dogs, you're all good, super happy, but do more of them, that's, do more of those. They're cheap, not expensive, and I think most people will volunteer knowing that's coming out.
Anyone else?
The pizza truck's always good.
Oh, I think Luigi is coming back next Sunday. So mark your calendars. I'll remind you as well. And then the movie night is going to be next Saturday. And the same movie, The Greatest Showman. David.
Some non-food related other items. So are we going to add a members only access to our website so we can put financial information on it and things like that?
Yes. I think, after Labor Day, we are definitely going to refocus on, there's a company that gave us a proposal to redo our website. I know that it was at least started and it hasn't really gone anywhere. So that's definitely a priority.
All right, and then just a few things budget wise. I think it would be a good idea if we come to some sort of agreement that we can change individual line items in the budget within a certain parameter, like a town could do. Also add a contingency line item to the budget, so, if we go over a little bit here or there, then have a couple extra $1,000 contingency line item we can just use to have to force a vote for any over budget item. And then the last thing would be, I think we should split the operating budget, capital budget apart and vote on each of those separately.
Or a suggestion we got during the budget process this year was there's a vote for operating budget and then a line item vote for all capital expenses, not just one vote for everything.
That work?
X versus capital. Are there any suggestions for next year? So that was kind of non-entertainment related. Are there anything else that people would want to see? Kathy?
We're talking about entertainment stuff,
Talk about anything you want to see.
like lifeguards.
You want to see lifeguards?
Lifeguards, and it's not you, Mr. King, obviously, it's just we didn't have anyone there day to day. So lifeguard situation, and I teach lifeguard, I even want to safety, so I know what I saw was really detrimental to the members. They weren't up in their chairs, they weren't walking the beach, they weren't watching the water, they were socializing, sitting down together, which is not on the books for lifeguard. You're by yourself, water's first, people on the beach for second, and they didn't do a job.
I would put backing on that. We were there, my friend, my son and his friend, and they knew one of the lifeguards, and they said, "Oh, all his buddies are here." They said none of them belong here, have badges, and they were socializing with their buddies.
Oh.
So I just think, and it's not.
So you say you teach lifeguard. I have a question. I used to be a lifeguard here. And when I was a lifeguard, we were taught that two lifeguards sitting together was actually a good thing because we could communicate. I'm watching the people on the raft and that group of 6, you have these kids over here. When you have two lifeguards spread out, someone in the middle, I could assume Joe's watching them, Joe could assume I'm watching them, and then no one's watching them. John has worked with the lifeguards this weekend to give some of the ones that we feel are better a head lifeguard status, to make sure that the other ones are on the chairs, to make sure the rotations are happening, to make sure that no one's on their phones, to really make sure that they're doing their jobs and looking like they're doing their jobs.
I already want it to look like a job, the job's need to be done.
Yes.
So the second thing is that,
What did you say, Kathy?
I don't want anyone looking like they're doing the job, they are doing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they're responsible to the members, and
Yeah.
just based on what I saw this year, I would not hire any of them back based on their experience being at our beach, because now they know what it's like. I think get the hiring process again. I think we need a manager. I know it's difficult because it's last minute, but you need a manager. And you can't go to Stop and Shop without a manager, because those kids are going to be in the lobby doing something else. It's just like Stop and Shop. You gotta have a manager there. They gotta be there enforced. They gotta be told what to do. They're young kids. They don't.
Yeah, they're high schools.
Yeah. I mean, if I taught this ed and I was in my office, you know where they are? They're on the bench sitting out. That's
Right.
exactly what those kids are doing.
Right.
It's disappointing. Saw too many kids in the water, too many adults in the water, and there are 4 of them sitting together last week. On the phone, talking to each other, under one bench. It was disgusting. And they would slap. They were not watching the water, and Sunday was probably the most crowded day there. So I think they need to all be, might do that, but not your job.
I agree with that, so they didn't do a good job. At all.
I'm sorry, what's
Who's
your name,
for
sir?
the record, for the,
Michael Warren.
I didn't hear that.
Michael Warren.
Thank you.
My question is this an issue that we should be asking our members if we want lifeguards? Do we want, I just questioning, do we want to take a vote
in the spring survey, 70% of people said they felt lifeguards were important to Pleasure Beach.
Yes.
I think,
It was under the basis that we had a manager manage.
yes, the question was, should we have lifeguards or should we be a beach that has no lifeguards? I think the sentiment, not official, was yes, we should have lifeguards. The sentiment that we've heard from multiple angles now, increasing recently, is that the lifeguards need to be better.
Right, but somebody isn't addressing it.
Yeah.
Right, so that's my biggest thing. I mean, either we do the B4, which I said, bring Billy Brett back. Or let's do something, because
Yeah.
I mean, Mr. King can't do it. It's
Yeah,
not
this year we had two really good candidates. You know, one, a move fell through and the other one had another job for the month of July. You know, I think that the position itself didn't pay all that much more than unemployment, which goes through September 1st. So I don't know how hungry people were. I think it's a pretty good job, but you know,
You
it's,
need to reach out to the colleges. I mean,
I sent out about 17 different colleges and it was put on their employment boards. I think from that, I only got contacted by, one of the two came from that.
you know, also like, this is, Bill, I'll get to you in 1 second. This is a lot of work and there's a lot of stuff beyond lifeguards that a beach manager could do. And I think something that the members could get input on is it more than a 4-month position? Is it a 9-month position? Are there things that could be done in the fall and in the spring to take some of the burden off of our members and our volunteers? And would that also make the paid position, if it was weekends only, kind of in the off season and then full-time in the summer, perhaps you might get more candidates if they knew that instead of just 7,500 for the summer, it was 15,000 for the year or something like that. You know, we pay for it, but it's there's this gray space of there's a lot of work to be done and management that falls through the cracks when you don't have that position. Bill.
Lifeguards, it's very difficult that lifeguards have to be told, even the raft rules, and the raft rules are on 2 of the chairs. So the members are the biggest violators of it, but they said the kids out with swimmies, tubes, the kids are doing flips, they're diving off the back of the raft, the wrestling, all that stuff happens. You want to get rid of the lifeguards, I don't have a problem having the lifeguards, but I seriously do not enjoy sitting at the beach, watching kids be idiots out there with tubes, because one of them's gonna hit their head, bouncing off with a tube, gonna go under. It's gonna be a tragedy. I don't want to witness it. I enjoy sitting on the beach relaxing. You can't relax with people breaking those rules. Those are dangerous stuff. And I mean, that's the stuff that happened. I watched the member that we told one day, go to a lifeguard, and the lifeguard tell her okay, because there was other kids that were in and out all day. I know which one it is. I don't think he's coming back, but it was ridiculous.
The lifeguards were told the raft rules, whether they remembered it, retained it, I cannot say.
They're not kids. You make too many excuses for these kids.
I'm not making excuses.
No, I know, but I mean, you know, you brought up a point, if you were there, 2 of you sat together, it was 1 lifeguard stand. We bought 3 lifeguard stands because we have 600 feet of beach and over 200 members now. And 21 new families came in. I bet out of the 21 or whatever, I would bet 10 or 15 of them have little kids. And we have a lot more elderly now that sit in the rocks. They're in as much danger of having a problem or whatever than anybody, especially getting in and out of the water. And they're good about that, so, you know, but other than that, I mean, the raft rules, if you're gonna have a raft, have the rules, and enforce it. They would never allow that other people to have.
So this is kind of a microcosm of a broader issue. When I came into office last fall, a lot of people told me how things happen and told me what happens and told me what policies and procedures are. Not once was I given a document that says, this is what we do. This is how we run our beach. These are the job descriptions. You know, I tried all year to get the different officers to write their job descriptions. So, you know, next year, this fall, with with my new board, documenting things. You know, I'm not gonna be sitting here forever, but the next person who sits here, I want them to at least have something to start with. Trying to reinvent the wheel creates extra work. And it also kind of can make you look stupid because what, I'm working on something or we're working on something that a board 5 years ago already did and member input was already given. And part of that effort is, you know, old meeting minutes have been, you know, digitized and stuff like that, motions, and eventually we'll get through those and we'll kind of have more of an online record. It'll be linked to the website, but putting things down, I think employment procedures, lifeguard policies, rules, badge checks, things like that should be written down and available to the members. And I definitely see that as an area of improvement. Susan,
You ignored your mother the last time I put my hand up, but I'm going back to entertainment.
okay?
I think it might be possible to consider a clam bake. If we're just gonna have a beach picnic, maybe we could consider something like that for a bigger event, but hopefully a lot of people would like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Kathy said,
She's
have it
gonna-
be more professional and more food provided.
Okay,
What we did have from Flanders for the 75th party was basically considered their clam bake,
that was.
and they will do that anywhere.
Was it extremely expensive?
That was definitely a high-end clam bake.
They had more than we needed. though.
Yeah.
It costs us basically almost $75 per person.
Okay,
So that's for the steak and lobster and all the other stuff.
yeah, okay.
I had used in the past, they're wonderful to work with. Clam Bakes of Connecticut, I know they are not local, but I've done 3 or 4 parties with him. And he's always great, you know, I always say, come on, how much better? can you do?"
Money wise.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the most you can say is no, he usually does better. So I mean, that might be an option.
Okay.
I think it's fun, to
In the
have.
back,
So just going back to the conversation with lifeguards, is the board taking an action here?
so this weekend, there's a gate attendant. This weekend, we told 2 of the lifeguards that we feel are better, that we want them to take more ownership and act like a head lifeguard and actually try to manage and make sure the other 2 are in the chairs, not on their phones, separated on the beach. And then the head lifeguard would either be doing badge checks at one of the chairs with the other guards or having one of those guards do the badge checks while they relieve them. So that's the action that was taken. And the goal is to try to do it right through the end of the season and then do it better next year.
Okay, so I guess I'm asking for next year, is there an action that the board's gonna take on how we're gonna manage lifeguards? Because unless we start having action for the boards to be responsible. And I've got a lot of these carried over, so I'd like to see some formal action that the board is responsible for. And I'd like to see an action that they address the lifeguard situation of the beach for next year.
Okay.
Excuse me, can you, I can't see your face. Can you identify?
Yeah, it's Jerry Sullivan.
Hi, Jerry, thank you.
Thank you.
I think a lot of these issues would be addressed if you had a beach manager.
Of course.
If his first task would be to get someone like Kathy to address the lifeguards, someone like volunteer, I mean, someone with knowledge and experience to emphasize to them what their responsibilities are, and how they're going to carry them out, and to emphasize things like, don't gather together, don't let your friends come in here, stay off your telephone, this is a job, you're responsible, and you have to do it. And I know in the past, people like Charlie, I had 2 of my kids in the lifeguards here, it was a lot different, they were more responsible. Maybe it's a generational phenomenon, I don't know.
I think one of the things we've also learned, John, I'm sure you'll agree with this, is that the board really needs to start looking early. You know, like beginning of the year, that type of thing, to try to get someone.
Tammy? Or
Do we have a beach manager role? I mean, we had one before and it was great. Do we not have one because of lack of someone wanting the position? Have we posted for a position?
We had an exhaustive search looking for
Okay,
one.
yeah, so we just never found someone
Right.
for that, okay.
Right.
We ID'd the head lifeguard. So we could point if we have an issue on the beach.
Today
Today it's Abbott.
Abby, yes.
and tomorrow's canceled, but it would have been Enzo. Well, I also think that they were in a hard position, lack of management. I think giving them a little bit more ownership, especially the better ones, hopefully will give them a little bit more confidence to do the job. Maybe not go down to the lowest common denominator, maybe, be better. So I think a couple of them are okay. I think that there are a lot of improvement and a lot of support we could put in place for them.
We had one basically we were going to actually dismiss as of yesterday, but he basically let us know that school's gonna be starting next week, so he might not make it too much. So I said, that's fine, you're basically done anyway, so. Tammy.
Mine's a totally different topic. Just a quick one, I just want to figure out what the future is going to be for next year, or if there's something just for this year. I know in the past, we had guests come in and the guests were $2 a piece. This year, it all of a sudden raised to $5 a piece. And then there was a limit at only 20 for the day. It didn't impact me whatsoever this year, but if anyone knows how long I've been here, and you've been here for a long time, once a year, I bring up about 20 people in to do just one party, and we go to the farthest end of the beach, so we're not impacting anyone. But going from $2 at 20 people to $5 at 20 people, that's basically more than I spend on the entire party. I haven't done it in 2 years because everything going on. And then beyond that, I have family, like my kids, they're in Jersey, and they come, and that's 6 people. If we make a plan for them to come during the summer, 6 people, my kids and grandkids, they come in, and you guys already have a max of your 20 guests for the day. Are you guys actually gonna say, I can't bring the kids and the grandkids on the beach because you maxed the 20 for the day? I just wanna know how long these things are gonna be in place with the processes around it, and then if we're still gonna keep it at $5.
So everyone has the ability to buy extra badges. So you can have up to 8 badges and anyone can use those badges. We are either in the middle of or at the tail end of a pandemic.
Okay.
And we have more member households than our bylaws allow. We have 210 households and a 200 household cap. Whether that 200 number is a good number or not, that's open for discussion. Whether you can get an experience like Pleasure Beach for less than $5 somewhere else is open to discussion. We felt that at the beginning of the season, a layover from last year was there was no guest passes, no day passes. Anyone who wanted to have people from out of town and didn't have the badges was turned away. And we felt like that was not fair. So we wanted to give members the chance to buy guest passes. And we put the daily cap on it just because of the membership cap being exceeded because of a pandemic. We don't know if the beach is too crowded or not, but those are not issues that had any real science behind them. And all those numbers are in the bylaws to be set by the board and can be changed.
We also have about over 1,000 badges out there, almost 1,100 badges that are out there. And even if we only had 50% of the members show up that day, that's still almost, over 500 people on the beach.
So you'll be keeping now, so it'll permanently be from $2 to $5.
Excuse me?
It'll permanently be from $2 to $5.
Well, no, that was just something we set up for this year.
Okay.
And
That was my question.
we will
is
probably
if-
discuss it again.
Okay.
With the amount of badges we actually sold this year, it didn't seem like that bad. We only made $150 or something on.
Oh, 140.
140, yeah.
For day passes. Oh. What? Oh.
I think it's 28 guests. I mean, I personally think $5 is pretty fair. I don't know if anyone else has a comment on the dollar amount. Pat?
I think we have to keep in mind, we have never had a cap before. We reached it. If everybody bought the number of tags they were allowed to buy, we could at any given point, hypothetically, have 1,600 people on our beach. Go down there and see where 1,600 people are going to fit. And I don't know if there is going to be, I don't want it to get to the point like Rocky Neck and Oh, the one in Hammonasset, where there's a sign that says we've reached our number of people that can go to the beach today.
Yeah.
So I don't care if you're a member or not, you can't go anymore today. So I think we all have to keep that in mind.
And we hate to say, tell a member they couldn't come, but if we said sold extra day passes for the day.
Right, so we really have to be careful, and again, I know that if I have a group of people coming to my house, and I think our beach is going to be too crowded, I will go to Waterford Town Beach for the day. Do I want to do that? No, but I know that we can't have an overcrowded beach, it's unsanitary, it's scary, germs passing around, and that many people in the water. It probably will never happen, but I want everybody to keep in mind that the possibility of 1,600 people is there.
Actually, it's 1672.
Thank you. Yes, because we have more than 200, so.
Donna?
I think that you're gonna find over the next few years that those numbers are gonna drop through
I
normal
hope.
attrition. The fact that we're at 210 is something that never should have honestly happened and wouldn't have happened organically if we had been kind of going the way we were going. And I think that's going to just slowly, naturally come back down. I mean, we will, of course, reach the 200 and keep it at that. I think it's, bylaws and other things that have made it go over that. But I think it's going to happen. We will come back down into the 180s, 190s, which is natural for our boundaries. So more people move in, move out. I think that will happen organically over the next few years. So, but I think the pandemic for me is the only one reason why it makes sense to be happening it right now. For the most part, we don't know the end in sight for that yet. So I think it makes sense.
And
Well,
it's actually
Kathy?
208, just so everyone's clear.
Okay, one more thing, porta potties. They were not clean this year. And I'm not, I don't use them, but I have guests and faithfully, those are the comments I was getting. I don't know if they're not getting cleaned right.
They're supposed to be cleaned every Tuesday and every Friday.
Yeah, I don't know, last year were fine. This year, I mean.
Well, that comes with each manager manage,
Right. I don't know. I guess you someone who work but I don't know.
Are they being locked
We're
at
discussing
night?
it, we're discussing.
They are being locked at night.
They are, okay.
I don't know if they're not getting cleaned enough. I don't know if the schedule's not right. I don't know anything about porta potties. All I know is the end result is not pleasant.
I had one experience in a porta potty this year and it wasn't negative.
What's that?
I said I only had to use a porta potty once this year and it wasn't a bad experience. But
I had guests down and my guests, out of town guests were
Probably hard.
at this point, on a Sunday, this is on a Sunday.
Okay.
I don't know what a Sunday looks like, you know.
You said
I don't know.
Tuesday.
I will
Saturday?
say that, on some of the very beautiful weekends, when they clean Friday morning between Friday, Saturday, you come into Sunday and it's probably, it's peak.
Right.
So, yeah, Sunday
We
morning.
can probably look into maybe adding an additional cleaning for, next year.
Or come on Monday.
Yeah,
Thursday, Sunday.
Monday's not gonna do any good on Sunday.
I
Yeah,
don't know if they'll do this Sunday cleaning.
Monday's not gonna do any good on Sunday.
yeah.
I can do it Friday,
Monday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Wednesday, Saturday, yeah. Monday's
Whether
not
they
gonna
do
good.
Saturday, we'll have to check into that, but yeah.
Earl,
I nominate Kathy as beach manager.
I think that's where this is headed.
I sell houses, that's all I know.
Anyone else have anything? Carolyn, do you want to announce the results of the voting?
You can do it, for always fine.
Okay, I have a vote tally here signed by Carolyn, Janet Zito, and John Shinaski. Dave Cavacino received 83 votes and Ann Darling received 41. So Dave will be the financial secretary next year. Myself and Jen Godin received 116. John only got 113, and Dan Tarbell received 120 votes. So
Everybody loves
was
Dan.
the most popular candidate.
May I have the, thank you. I did something that I feel is very important. I'm sorry,
I can't hear you.
I do have to read, I did not want to have to do this, but I feel I must read this. August 15th, Sunday, voting on MailChimp is not up and running. It was known prior to Sunday, August 15th, that there are 20+ members who have had emails thrown back as undeliverable or sent to their spam folder. This was known by the board member who runs the website, and I did find this out on Sunday. MailChimp opened up Tuesday, midday, August 17th. Voting historically is open 5 days prior to the meeting. This opening of MailChimp only left 3 days to vote. I did not find that there was no proxy loaded on MailChimp or WAI at this time. Well,
Let her finish.
let me just finish, because then I lose my train of thought, please. All other voting that's taken place this year, proxies were put on for April 24th and July 10th. An email regarding the undeliverable / spam mails was sent out to notify these members that they could then go to MailChimp to vote. The email was sent out at 11:30 on Thursday night, August 19th, leaving them only 10 hours to vote prior to the deadline of 9:30 Friday morning. This is not enough time to vote. It is also a violation of WAI bylaws. Bylaws state there is 1 vote per assessed household. We have taken assessed household members' money. They are entitled to vote by properly notifying each member. The voting and the voting mechanism needed to be up and running in a more timely manner. I had concerns regarding the timeline, and my concerns were ignored. I feel this election in some way was orchestrated not to have me win. I expect a plan of action that is fair. It needs to be put together by the board to rectify this improper voting. And the plan of action will be shared with all association members. If the board cannot come to an agreeable and fair way of solving this issue, I expect it to be put out to the association members to vote upon a plan of action and how to rectify this improper voting practice on August 21st, 2021. All information pertaining to this issue will be shared completely with association members. Anna Darling, I am the financial secretary, as well as the assessed member. I do understand that I have 9 proxies that were signed and they were directed proxies to the recording secretary to direct that vote. I understand that. And there are some questions if those proxies were even valid. I do believe they were. The proxy gives the recording secretary the to record the vote, and the proxy had my name on it. And I thank you.
I'd like to respond to that. So we had a meet and greet for the candidates on Sunday. I don't think it would make sense to have the voting go live prior to that on Sunday. Ann did email me asking me to make the voting live. In order to make the voting live, there is some work that needs to go into it. The Survey Monkey is easy enough. Typically what happens is the proxy form is created and posted to the website, and that exact language is then mimicked on the Survey Monkey, so everyone who's voting is reading the same thing. I think that that's only fair. I sent an email to the board. I said, can someone help me create a directed proxy form? Rather than help, I received the email back saying, you're just mentioning the proxy form now, make it live. So I did not receive any help. I'm busy. I went to the aquarium with my family on Monday morning. The Survey Monkey was completed Monday night. So it was at the top of people's email boxes. It went out Tuesday morning. The previous votes this year, I have been in contact with every single person on the opt-out and the bounce list previously. They know they're on that list. And those people are the people that were not included in the Survey Monkey. They are not receiving the emails, and Survey Monkey knows they're not receiving the emails. So the 9:30 Friday deadline does not matter to them. So the email that went out told them that we still need to work out your own technology issues. We don't provide an IT department, but you have two other ways that you can vote: via undirected proxy or directed proxy. Those forms are on the website Monday night, or you can come to the meeting and turn in a vote. In regards to the official directed proxy, there was one posted on the website on Monday night. There were the 9 directed proxies that were turned in today. Anne created her own with her as the only choice to vote. We accepted those. We didn't question them. I said, this is not really proper, but I'm not trying to orchestrate anything. I'm trying to allow everyone to vote. And I'm tired of being accused of being underhanded. And I think it's ridiculous. And the membership voted. So I don't know if you're proposing a revote. I don't know what you're saying. But if anyone wants to give their input, I would love it. You know, if people think that this is improper, or you feel that I'm doing something wrong, you know, please let me know. But I think this accusation is just really silly and petty. And the votes are pretty clear. It's 83-41. I don't know what you think happened there. But you know, we received 127 votes for the raft. That was the most votes that I know of ever cast. Previously in the year, we were right around 100. So that seems to be the engagement of the community. Today we have, Dan got 120, 80 plus 41 is 124. So, you know, that's everyone who tends to vote seemed to vote. I don't know what else we could have done. I want more engagement. I would love to have 210 votes, but you know, I don't have the time to go door to door like some other people did. So I'll open that up to the floor.
Well, I got an issue, man. We have 200 members. This isn't a major corporation. It's proxy stuff. First of all, you need to vote in person. You vote online. You need to go out through proxy votes. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. That's just, we did away with people having 5 votes per household. It's just almost the same thing. You vote online, or you come to a meeting and you vote in person.
The proxy vote was originally created for the people that could not make it to a in-person meeting like we used to always have. Or maybe it should be something we eliminate in the future.
Or may want to be part of a discussion.
Can I offer an alternative positions? My mom's 90, she's a member. She is no longer savvy enough to handle online voting. She's physically frail now, and there's a hire for her. So she does a directed proxy for me to bring on her behalf. And that's important to make that available to people in similar circumstances.
Good point, thank you.
Thank you.
Line on the 20 that doesn't, the Survey Monkey does not recognize, even though I get every other missive from Pleasure Beach to my email address. Survey Monkey doesn't recognize my email address. And so a proxy is important for me today. So I think that it's the whole thing is really pretty complicated. I think we need a webmaster again who is, you know, dedicated to handling that kind of thing so that it doesn't fall on you, Charlie.
Yes.
And you know, and I hope that maybe the differential in the votes would maybe mean, and you wouldn't feel like you need to go through too many hoops to straighten it out. But I
Susan?
think it's different levels, but it is complicated.
Susan?
Yes, thank you, Donna.
Those are 2 very good examples of
Yes.
how a directed proxy can be used. But it's a legal right. Almost every organization allows for proxies. It gives people who can't be at the meeting a means to vote. And, you know, Barbara Keck did a proxy. She's similar maybe to Norma in the sense that she can't and doesn't want to come to these meetings anymore.
Right, it's like mail-in voting, you could say there's an opportunity for fraud, but you're also making sure everyone has the right to vote.
Yeah, and the proxies are on the website 365 days a year. They're not always, when you're looking for a directed one that has the date filled in, well, then that's done for each voting occasion. But anybody at any time can print it out. It's pretty obvious what you put in the blanks.
Susan, where on the web,
It's under governance or when it.
all right.
Meetings and minutes.
I couldn't find.
For every meeting,
I
the
couldn't
minutes,
find
the
it.
agenda's posted, the minutes are posted, the
Yes.
proxies, if applicable, are posted.
Yes,
I've posted multiple times a document that explains the voting guidelines, the different methods available to our members.
And it's just a legal right. If you take that away, you're really taking away some people's right to vote. And the other thing, our bylaws do say that with undirected proxies, you cannot collect or bring, one person can't bring any more than 5. Because it was decided, you know, if you could bring 10 or 20, you could stack the vote. So
I will say, you know, Bill, I think that I can say that to the best of my knowledge, we've had no voting impropriety this year. John and I went through a list of, you know, IP addresses with Jen, you know, so there's not like people taking other people's votes, you know, the proxy forms, I could definitely see how you could maybe manipulate that. We received 22 proxy votes today. So if we saw that trend increasing, and maybe it's something you could talk about, but I think providing people the right to vote is important. I think encouraging people to vote is important. And I do not feel that there's any underhandedness or impropriety in how our system's set up and how individuals carry it out. You know, that's kind of up to them. Yes.
My name is Gary Canada, and I would like to move that we accept the results of the election and move on. We're past 10:30, wait for the time for the bylaws.
there's no voting at a meeting.
I know, I just wanted to say that.
Well, you can say there's no voting.
Thank you, Erin.
Say all of it.
Does anyone else have any other comments? No. All right, it's 10:51. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
So you're not doing your.
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay.
This guy.